Hey, today I'm talking about the new comedy film Winner. This stars Emilia Jones and features Zach Galifianakis and Connie Britton. And the basic premise is this is based on the life of recent whistleblower Reality Winner. She's the one that leaked the documents about Russians' interference in the 2016 election. And if this sounds familiar, that's because in 2023, Sydney Sweeney also had a movie based off of Reality's life, except hers was literally just a transcript of when the FBI searched her home, like that whole conversation. So these are two very different films that look at her life in two very different ways. I will say I went into this with lower expectations because it got pretty mixed reviews. And honestly, I really enjoyed this film. I felt like the comedy elements really worked and added to the story. This definitely helped paint a much fuller picture of who Reality was/is as a person. Obviously, I have to compare this to the Sydney Sweeney version, which is named Reality, is in a sense realer because it is literally just the words that she said. But does that truly give you a snapshot of who she was as a person? Because like it was a very high stress situation, and like people in high stress situations sound different than their normal talking voice. And then on top of that, when listening to a real conversation versus listening to a movie conversation, a real conversation sounds so strange because when talking to people, we filter out so much noise. We filter out so many ums and ahs and word stumbles. But when you're watching a movie, every single word matters, every single pause matters and means something. So when translating an off-the-cuff conversation into a film script, they still kept all those moments, but we're trained to look into them more. So in a sense, even though it is literally what she said, there is kind of an unrealityness to it. And then looking at this one, Winner almost feels more like this is how Reality perceived herself, that this is what was going on in her mind. So it's the clean, more thought together, smoother version of who she was as a person. And like, I think there's arguments to be made as which one is more of who she actually was as a person, of who she believed she was, or how she sounded in a very high stress situation. Like which one is more true to life? I think that's such a huge question that can go any which way. And it's also just interesting to see like how each filmmaker interpreted different aspects of her character differently and different moments differently. But to talk more about this movie specifically, I really like the main actor, Emilia. I think she did a really good job of carrying the film and personifying this really strange and interesting person. I loved the way that the film was structured. I think going through snippets of her life really worked, and seeing how the Air Force was so appealing to her at first, and then how she got so jaded about it afterwards, and how she just got so fascinated with the Middle East in the first place, of just like looking at it from a place of hope and understanding and wanted to help people. I think she did a great job of conveying those emotions and ideas. I really did love seeing her family react to stuff and seeing their support and love. That was really interesting. And just, yeah, no, I really enjoyed this film and would totally recommend it. I would honestly recommend doing a double feature. I would say watch both this and Sydney Sweeney one, Reality. I do think Sydney Sweeney's is a stronger film. It's a really unique experience. And I would say this one kind of just fills in more of the broader aspects of this person. But I'm not sure which one I would say to watch first. I think there's arguments to be made both ways, but I think it's definitely worthwhile to give both films a watch for sure. So yes, thoroughly enjoyed, totally recommend. And now for my ranking, I put this at number 28 in the really like section. And this is a total of 67 new movies so far this year.